What's going on, guys? This is Jared. I'm the founder and CEO of Luminous, and we're here for Ops Unfiltered. So, Ops Unfiltered, we have the dirty conversations of the really difficult ops, the operations that go on behind the scenes. So, we have Hamish. Hamish here. He is the founder of Order Editing. Hamish, can you just give us a quick intro? Where are you at, man?
Yeah, I'm calling in from Mexico City, but originally a Kiwi kid, so from New Zealand. And I'm a Shopify app founder. We're doing 7 figures a year on the App Store. Started about just over a year ago. And yeah, currently at the very start of a world tour to keep growing our app in the US and in Europe and in the UK.
Dude, you've been crushing it. How many clients are you guys at right now?
Just crossed 1,400.
Oh my goodness. That is explosive growth. Congrats on that growth, man. I'm curious. So Luminous, we're in backend systems. So, like it's like NetSuite, Fulfill, Send7, Luminous. We're kind of there. I'm curious. There's been this trend happening where people are trying to use Shopify as their backend system of record and just sort of bolster it up with a bunch of different apps. Are you seeing that trend, or what are you seeing there? Do you think somebody can actually run an 8-9 figure brand with just Shopify and a bunch of apps?
Most of like the 8 or 9 figure brands we work with have like, ERPs or something more complex, or like data warehouses backing it up. But there are a few founders I know who do like, from the like 0 to maybe 30, 40 million US a year range GMV, that are running like extremely lean teams, extremely lean tech stack, and just like mega profit. And they're just running like almost on this like secret sauce. Like other brand founders are cluttering things, or e-com managers like putting on all these different apps and hiring all these different people. And there's a class of founders, I feel like, that think that they're like, they're running the leanest stack, like both people wise and tech and just like general complexity, and it crushes.
That is awesome. Do you think it's just a mindset thing? Like, is it just they just want to be as lean as possible?
I mean, I liken it like, I don't know, I'm not, I work brand side, but I've never been a brand founder. I liken it to like the software space, where there are founders out there who want to grow like a $2 million a year company solo. And that is like entirely possible in tech, 100%. Be damn hard, but it's possible. And then there's the other side of those founders who are like trying to get to IPO or get to like $100 million revenues and grow this big, massive business with the funding rounds behind them. And then there's probably like a sweet spot where most of us sit. But I think there's something to be said about when you start a business like brand or tech. I think there's a class of founders who just go out and do things and like ride the wave of, we want to be as big as possible. That's the goal. And then there's the wave of founders who go, I'm going to intentionally build the business that I want to create, which is like low headcount, little politics. I don't want to manage people. That's not my vibe. Like I just want to have like 3 really close friends working on this with me, and let's try and make as much money as possible. And I relate to that quite a lot.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I've seen such a big change. I mean, like in the 2010s, everybody was fundraising. They were just doing this like unprofitable meta arbitrage where they're just pumping up revenue numbers. I'm really happy to see the shift in both e-commerce and in tech towards profitability, which at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. So I'm curious. I want to dive into order editing. And first off, what are the main use cases that you solve for modern brands? What do you guys do?
Yeah, I mean, we let customers make changes to online orders after checkout. And like the problem space of that is that somewhere between 1% and 2% of all online customers will make a mistake at checkout. They'll put in the wrong address, they'll forget their discount code, they'll forget the product they want to bought, they'll buy the wrong size or variant. And we let them self-service that fix rather than like interact with a chatbot or contact customer service, ring them up, those types of things, or just receive the wrong package. It was this gap that I stumbled on while working in customer service a couple years back for a merchandising studio for YouTubers. And like, shit, I had a full-time employee editing orders every single day.
Wow.
Like that was all that they did, was make changes to orders because customers were reaching out saying like, hey, ShopPay filled out the wrong address, or like, that's my ex-girlfriend's house, can you change it for me? And I was 22 at the time. It was like a university internship. This was like an assignment that I submitted to like my New Zealand university, was the order editing portal. What happens if we let customers do this themselves? Like, what would that do to our business? It meant that we could grow like 20 or 30% that year
Oh,
and not
that's awesome.
hiring more agents. Like our support team just didn't scale beyond 10 agents.
Well, you tell me, my brand is back in 2019. I just remember a big part of the daily process was we'd go into ShipStation or Shopify and we'd just go through every single order and we'd see which, okay, this address looks correct. We did customization. So we would also look through the, like, it looks like they mistyped this name. Is that also what you're talking about? Like those, typically there's a brand daily, they go through the order queue and they just have to make the same edits over and over again. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, we do three things, right? We do self-service editing, so you don't get support tickets. We do address validation, so that like orders with incorrect addresses go on hold. They don't go to ShipStation until like the customer fixes it or you fix
Mm.
it. And we prompt the customer like, hey, your address is wrong. Self-service to this. And then we do upsells. So we do like post-purchase, product upselling, trying to increase items per cart and AOV. Because what we did was like we created this entirely new surface point post-checkout where the purchase is converted, it is finished. What happens if for 15 minutes they can keep shopping from the store, they can update their address, they can make any type of change to their order that the brand lets them, and then you send it to the warehouse, and then you send it to NetSuite or your 3PL or whatever it might be. That is like our app in a nutshell. So brands do all sorts of quirky things, right? They'll do 10% off for 15 minutes after purchase. Like browse the store, add those to your cart. Like it updates the original order number. It ships out as one. It's address validation. It's everything.
Something I can tell you naturally do is you naturally sell the value instead of the thing. Like your company's called order editing, so that's super straightforward. But you're so clear on the value. Like we increase AOV and we decrease issues. We decrease order issues, so you can grow your business. That's really cool. How do you think you're able to get so clear on that, even just a couple years in? And normally it takes years to understand like the actual value you're providing.
People describe our product as really simple. And it is like it's simple to explain. And that's a big reason why we went with the name order editing and something like I don't know, Westbound Bob or like some flary word. It was like, well, if we own orderediting.com, when people Google, customers keep reaching out to asking to change their orders or like self-service order editing, we'll always be number one. And you'll see the link and you'll always know what we do. And then, I mean, like you're a founder. I mean, I've spent the last 2 years describing this to people, whether it's on sales calls and invest things and lecture theaters on podcasts. Like it's all that I do. I live and breathe this product. Me and my co-founder both do.
Well, Hamish, you've had the opportunity to work with so many 7-figure brands, 8-figure brands, also 9-figure brands. So first off, 9-figure brand, they're not as common, at least on Shopify. They're not as common as people think. About how many 9-figure brands do you think there are out there?
I'm pretty sure there's like a smudge over 200.
Yeah, we've
And I
heard
know
the same thing.
it's like a smudge over 200, and I know that because we work with about 10% of them. Uh,
So what do you think? I'm curious to get your feedback on what has been the difference in diving into the operations of a 9-figure brand versus an 8-figure brand. Are there any things that stand out to you?
It's funny because it's inconsistent. Some have tons of hoops to jump through and are like quite political and challenging to get things on, and you have to really advocate for new technology internally to get things adopted. And then some people just like move at the speed of light, and you'll meet them and then the next day like they'll implement tech or they'll get sign off because the founder's super hands-on or whatever it might be. I think it's that same point of like different brand founders built their brands in different ways. You can probably tell like Sean Frank at Ridge or like Jason at Hexclad or like whatever it might be work phenomenally different to the founders at Rothy's or the founders at Tom's or like whatever it might be. Because it's just like they built their company in different ways. I think the hierarchies are probably different. Like the internal leadership, like autonomy that people might have might change. And then, I mean, between 7 and 8 and 9 figures, I think it's a feeling of abundance and confidence and the feeling that you're here to stay. I think there's a lot of like anxiety or even purity or like rat racy type of vibes in some 7 or 8 figure brands because they're trying to go up that chain and they can see where this is heading to and the growth is still super fast and it can kind of change at the speed of light. Whereas the 9 figure brands, I feel like are quite quietly calm or like a quietly kind of growing and building in confidence. It's at least how like I perceive it when I meet these people.
Give us a sense for the size of this problem. What has been your best story of transformation with order editing? Like what impact did it make to the customer?
Yeah, I mean, the best case studies are the 9 figure brands. They're the ones where they come to me and like I want to talk about fast shipping fashion specifically, like really high volume fashion merchants, like a Polly or a Meshki. They come to me and they say, hey, Hamish, we receive somewhere between 2 and 3,000 support tickets every month from customers asking to change their order, right? That's like 3,000 anxious customers that are worried their order's going to go to the wrong place or like with the wrong products. And they say, we ship out orders in like 45 minutes, an hour. Sometimes we're not staffed 24/7. Sometimes there's so many tickets that we don't get to answer those tickets before it ships. And we like ring up the warehouse or contact them and they say, sorry, Penelope, like that order's already gone out. That customer is receiving the wrong item or that package is going to the wrong place. And as a CS agent and like the CX manager, when they're talking to me, they go, I ask them, what do you do? What do you do when the order's already shipped and the customer's asked to change their address? And you haven't responded. They sent it 5 minutes after purchase. And they go, well, we do hundreds of millions of dollars a year. This customer spent their pocket money on us. We're going to send them a new package to the right place and like revive that experience and not have this be like a transaction that they never got the value from. And that's a huge net loss at 2 or 3,000 support tickets a month. The brand adopts us and the next day, Lauren wakes up and she goes, hey, Hamish, we only got like 10 of those tickets today, or we used to get hundreds or 800. And so like the feeling is very night and day where you wake up and there's maybe 15% less work in the help desk. Because that's what it is. Like you just don't get the email. It just doesn't happen because the customer's using this product and it just like works in the back end. Flip side of that, there's also like the other things we do, right? And the upselling is probably the easiest metric to measure, where a brand like Hexclad puts us live right before Black Friday, before their peak sale. And they do $100,000 of net new sales on like no extra discount, just Black Friday prices in the first 2 months. And
That's
that's
incredible.
alongside like Michael waking up and having 15% fewer support tickets, both at the fucking same time.
That is incredible.
That's the magic. That's the magic. It's like, it's a full-time employee's worth of work being saved that you can then reinvest into something else. And it's the act
100%.
paid for itself tenfold in revenue.
I'm curious especially you hear some of the use cases of AI being used in CX. Have you guys dabbled in AI at all? I'm curious if you're exploring that.
Yeah, for product recommendation engines. And then there are features coming out soon, which will because we log all of the actions the customer takes in the order timeline. And we're starting to write AI summaries of exactly what the customer did. So an agent can go in and understand how they're using the tool. Like, Jennifer came in, she swapped her like dress in small for a blue, for a medium. And then she added like the socks to her order. And then she actually decided she didn't want the socks, so she bought the heels instead. Like that type of thing will get agents that they can understand how people are using this. And that'll be really powerful when it comes to like, we do self-service order cancellations, very controversial. Do you let them self-service or cancel? But the neat thing about that is that we can collect the data on why people are canceling, surface that through like AI reports and summaries, and then pull out retention strategies.
I'm curious to get your thoughts on that. What do you think is controversial about self-service cancellations? Like, what is the debate there?
I mean, a fear of buyer's remorse, right? Like, they bought the product, they've seen the money go out of their account, they regret it, they cancel, and the brand is like, I know if they got this in their hands, they wouldn't return it. And so there's like a conflict of interest there. It's still something that we're like, we're still in the place where we have like relative, like strong opinions, but quite loosely held, because I think there's still so much more data to collect here, especially across different categories. My opinion is, if you get a lot of order cancellation emails to the point where it's like a burden on your customer service team, just self-service. Like you don't want to be doing all of that work manually. Just let the customer do it themselves. If it's not a big issue for you, if you get maybe 2 a day, 3 a day, like I would continue to do them yourself and just handle those like in the way that you always have. But like big 9-figure brands, they almost always have the feature turned on because you just get so many cancellation tickets and they're a pain in the ass and you don't want to answer them.
And then I'm guessing you were alluding to getting the data of why somebody would cancel. I imagine that data is so valuable.
Yeah, I mean, like when we first launched the product and we had the feature, the number one reason why people were canceling was because they forgot to apply a discount code. So we in a few weeks built I forgot my discount code as a feature, and they could like type in their discount code and get the discount code, and then suddenly the cancellations process through the app would half because people weren't canceling, they were applying the code. The same thing happened with I need to switch my payment method. Really common reason to cancel. So we put that feature into the app too. So it's kind of guiding our product development in the same way that like when we first started this product, we built it off of our experience working in brands and CS. As the products evolved, like our early adopters, I asked to go into their Zendesk or their Gorgeous or their customer and like read through their tickets, see their reports, and then that guided the features that we built. Because put see things in there would be like, you get so many tickets for this. I think we could do that self-service. Why are people reaching out
Mm,
about that? And it kind of shaped the core product.
that's incredible. Do you still feel like you guys you're still early stage in the sense that you're iterating that quick still? Like you're still going into Gorgeous and Zendesk and asking your customers the next use case to solve for?
Oh, 100%. I mean, like, dude, we're not even like 6 people. Like there's some part where, but like it's 6 people. We're doing like 1.1 million a year. Like we're 13
That's
months.
awesome.
We're children. Like we're literally just starting out here. We have a really sophisticated product, but there's so much more we can do with it. The way that I describe it is like I believe we've solved the core order editing issue. Like the common tickets we are doing in the way that we could. Where the product like can and will expand is deeper into the address validation market. There's a lot of friction in that market at the moment with how those apps work and like the level of functionality that they have, and order editing's unlocks some like new value there. So we're like streaming down that path. And then as well as that, the upselling side of things, like how do you maximize this 15-minute remorse period or like self-service period to get customers to upsell because they're already converted. You're breaking a purchase into smaller chunks. How can we leverage things like free shipping thresholds, or like you're not on the bundle yet, or like all these different types of offers? And then, there's a whole world over there of some things you can't do self-service, but maybe AI could guide you through, and you could
Mhm.
go in chatbot realm. But one of the things that I love that we did was when we started this company back in like December 2023, me and my co-founder sat down and we said like, what do we want to build? What are we trying to achieve here? And like, what is like what do we really have a lot of conviction on? And it was always that great customer experiences are self-service when they can be, and any other way they're a human touch, like when necessary. And so we're pretty centered on self-service rather than getting customers to like communicate and type emails and things like that.
Are there any cool because you guys are still iterating like crazy. Are there any cool use cases that you're working on right now? Like, oh, this is gonna be cool.
I mean, the most exciting one is like customer checks out. You don't have address validation in the checkout because you don't want to affect conversion rate, maybe
Mhm.
reduce the friction. They go through checkout. Our address validation flags that there's an error in that address. We immediately stop that order from getting downloaded from your ERP, your warehouse, your 3PL. You send the customer an email with the correct address, ask them to accept it. They click accept. Their address updates in Shopify and it gets sent down to the ERP.
That's very cool.
That's super exciting. We're doing a lot of work at the moment with high-end like furniture brands and other brands that do delivery dates,
Mhm.
and we're like letting customers reschedule the date of their delivery and like push things out in the future because they're not going to be home or whatever it might be. Super valuable for pre-orders. The subscription space is super exciting. Like there's a whole world of opportunity that's going to unlock when we start doing more integrations with other tech partners, particularly like in subscription space.
That's incredible. What's the 5-10 year goal? You talked about how you guys inherently believe part of your core values is you think there's a lot of things that can be self-service and on order issues. Is there a bigger end goal to this? Is it like, I want to build a gorgeous competitor, or like I want to change CX? Like is there something there, or is it just like not just like this cool tool?
Yeah, I mean, the 5-year goal is that I like wake up in the morning and whenever I buy something online, I interact with a version of our app, like whether it's ours, it's some competing product. There'll obviously be other players in the space. And that's on every single online purchase. Like 15 minutes of grace, 30 minutes of grace to make a change to your order after checkout is table stakes, and it's everywhere. And the world goes, I know the guy who started that, or like his name is Hamish, like he started that. I want that. Like that's my ego coming through. That's like a really important thing to me. In parallel to that, I will not be the CEO of that company. In 5 years' time, I'm not
Mm.
running it. Me and my co-founder, when we started out and we talked about what are we trying to achieve here, we said we're going to build a $20 million acquisition target and we're going to own the whole thing. We're not going to dilute or like raise a lot of money. We're going to build a $20 million acquisition target, and then someone else can go and scale it to like 10, 20, $30 million of revenue. And the reason for that is because in 5 years, I should be teaching kids in lecture theaters or like on the internet or running some form of like community with people that are my age currently, like between 20 and 23.
Uh-huh.
And they want to achieve 10x what I ever did. And I get to teach off the back of like this experience and potentially others. But this, like, quite frankly, I'm 23. When I'm 25, I don't want to be managing 30 employees. Like, not my dream. That's not how I want to spend. Like, my, mid to late 20s. I want to be doing like a more of a passion project type of thing, and having that be
Right.
funded by this like extreme period of hustle and growth that we're going through at the moment. And like maybe the IPO company comes later in my 30s, but like this is such an amazing experience. I think it's really exciting. Having a very clear end goal at date, and like understanding what my why is, like why we do this. And I don't know about you or like people listening, but I really struggle to work at my best when the objective is unclear. And I find like be as big as possible to be super unclear. Whereas like, hey, I reckon we could build a $20 million company in 3 years. That's very clear. You can just work back from that and go out of and do it.
100%. Yeah, I can only do it 1 year at a time. Like, I mean, I have a big goal at the end of the road, but, like, I can only really see 1 year at a time. I'm curious, how do you view fundraising? You talked about how you wanna raise as little money as possible. Have you guys fundraised at all?
We raised 75 grand.
Oh,
Yeah, at like an average of maybe like a 3 mil val or something. So we've
okay.
diluted very little. And that was from brand founders, agency owners, people that could unlock distribution for us was a key part of our go-to-market strategy. I don't know if you've seen like Icon recently, Canon's product. He's done
Yes.
on like massive scale, like all of the brand founders are invested and you can see how it works. Everybody is talking about it. And we did that on a smaller scale. And I mean, my view on fundraising is like, do whatever best fits your personal
Mhm.
goals. I think like if I was to have any distaste towards fundraising, it would be like uneducated founders not doing the work on what they want to achieve, like answering that question of like, what do I actually want to get out of this? And if you say like, I want to make $100 million, if that's your goal, like go fundraise. Hell yeah, you
Yeah, you
have
gotta
to.
shoot the moon, like, 100 mil is
Or like, I want to go through an IPO experience. Like, yeah, go fundraise. But if you're doing this to like retire or build a lifestyle business or to like get to a point where you have kind of like 10 people and you've got a nice culture and company environment and you're doing a positive thing on the world, then like maybe you don't need money to do that. And maybe it'll be a hell of a lot easier without the money. Cause like speaking from my experience firsthand, the way that we've built our business has been extremely liberating. There's no external pressure. It's all like the pressure that we put on ourselves. It's all very self-motivated. And I
Mhm.
think it's an experience that I've enjoyed a lot. Um,
I had a podcast with Parker Burr. He was the founder of Feet, one of the co-founders of Feet. Is Feet Clothing. They're like a darling D2C brand in Los Angeles. Is like hoodies. He gave such a good story about the exact same lesson that you just said. He was just like, you know what? Like we fundraised like crazy for Feet, and like we were just. It was always like, yeah, we're gonna push. It's gonna be pedal to the metal. We're going for it. We're going for 9 figures. And he talked about how like eventually one day he just got so burned out and now he just asks the question. He's like, what do I want to do? And now he owns an agency. It's a super simple email agency, email marketing agency for D2C brands. He will never have more than 5 to 10 customers, extremely profitable, just him, maybe one other person. That's it. And he loves it. And I agree. I mean, so many founders don't ask that question. They just think they need to go for like the $100 million exit, the $1 billion valuation. And yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's awesome advice.
I think what adults are really good at, like people in their 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s, that like they kind of teach downwards is like the ability to design your life. And they do it because, they may have children or partners and they like design their life around them because that's where they get the most of their joy and it's important to them. It's really hard to do that in your early 20s because you have no responsibilities, like no nothing. Like you're just like in this like desert of trying to create something, and it's quite hard to envision like what life could or like would look like and even feel like because you just haven't experienced anything outside of high school. And I think one of the conversations that I was having recently with someone in Mexico is just like once you commit to a decision of like how you're going to build your business and what you go after, you do put yourself in a box. It's very hard to turn around from where you're at and change the objective. And I think that can't be discounted. If you raise money, if you like raise proper money, you are on that path. It's very hard to turn out of that into a lifestyle business.
Yes.
Like that's
Yeah.
not okay. I don't know what happens if you want to do that. Like, what do your investors say? Are you allowed to? You probably get fired and they bring someone else in. The same thing applies to us. Like, I'm not building a lifestyle business. I work like 18, 16 hours a day. I work on the weekends. I like travel nonstop to meet customers and I'm like always relatively low energy. It's fucking hard. And like, that's not a lie. I'm building a medium-sized business. Like, that's my goal. And I have employees. I put food on the table for people we're actively hiring to continue to grow towards that goal. I can't just turn around and fire everybody and make like 500 grand a year with my co-founder. Like, our company would die. Like, we're in this box now. We have to go achieve that goal. And I think you want to make damn sure when you get like halfway there, that you feel like you're still progressing towards the right goal. Could you imagine doing 2 years of grind, being halfway to where you like want to be, and then realizing I hate this?
That would that would suck. That'd be a hard one. Yeah. But you know what? Even if you do realize that, yeah, no, especially fundraising. That's why I try to. I've had so many conversations with VCs, other founders, and what I've learned is to keep optionality alive. This is the general advice that I've gotten. It's basically if you want to keep optionality alive to be able to, everybody's going to be high fiving and celebrating for a 20 to $100 million exit in your space. Okay, you can't raise more than $6 or $7 million. That's it. As soon as you start getting above that, then it's kind of $100 million or bust. So that's where we've kept it so far. And our next raise is, if we do it, we know what we're signing up for. It's like, okay, we're going for 100 million or bust.
Oh, yeah.
So
And like these, like, I don't have any distaste for it. Like, I think how people talk about on LinkedIn, like the confrontational and that gets you all the likes. Like, I think anyone who shills the idea that like you're wrong for raising money or like you idiots, like the best way to build your business is this. I think it's like super close-minded. Like, I think they're idiots for saying things like that. I think the reality is like we all take fulfillment and enjoyment and purpose and want to work on different things for 10 years. Like, that guides you. And just because just because your dream is to run like a chill, profitable company does not mean like that's someone else's dream. And I mean, that's the beauty of it. Like, I look at the guys out in SF, like the guys building Pylon at the moment. His name's like Marty or something. I look at that with so much joy and excitement. I'm just gassed for them. Like, they did like a 25 million round. They're growing like the speed of light. They have this awesome office,
yes,
content, and it's cool to watch. And you can tell they love it. Like, hell yeah. How could you
yeah,
possibly say they're doing it wrong? They had it so much fun.
exactly.
And they're
It's
gonna
all, what do you want? What do you want to do? And reverse engineer that, and apply a high level of scrutiny with it. Do you actually want that? I love it. So I want to pivot to this will be one of my last questions. You've come into contact with so many brands and you've seen their tech stack. In fact, I see you post on LinkedIn about certain brands' tech stacks, and you'll list out the everything they're using. What are some tools that you need to win as a modern commerce brand? Like, what are some tools you absolutely can't go without?
It's funny, like I actually don't beg that question to a lot of people. But when I think about like designing my tech stack, and I only really have experience in CX, I have no idea what the MarTech stack looks like
Mm-hmm.
or types of things. But like, Lord knows, I would definitely have a self-service returns portal. I would be wanting to sell cross-border. I'm a huge advocate for like growing globally. Maybe your US brand is a little bit different because you've got so much TAM. Like, if
Yeah.
you're at the UK or you're in Australia or New Zealand, like, start building your brand overseas and use cross-border to do it. Get your help desk sorted out and cleaned up. There was actually a really cool tool called Dixa, which is like a help desk that I think they're based out of Denmark, Copenhagen. And I learned about this on the weekend. Like, haven't like come across brands that use it, but the way that they describe it is, like, for me as an agent, I thought this was really cool. When you're an agent, you just get like a stack of tickets in a queue and you just go
Mm-hmm.
through out at the top and you work your way through to the bottom. And I used to manage like so many agents that would just skip past the hard tickets and they'd go, oh, someone else will pick that up in the queue.
Yes.
Now someone else will do that. Like, I'll do the really fast high CSAT tickets because that's what I'm incentivized to do. Dexid made this like cool thing where they force you out of queues. They offer you work. So they send you tickets and you have to accept it. Like, you have to work
Mm,
that I give you, and then you have to work on the next ticket that I give you. So there's no like hiding from hard things or like laying stuff off to other people.
that's really interesting.
It's also very targeted what it gives you, right? Like, if you're an expert on materials or like production or whatever, like, you'll get all those related tickets and you'll work in your niche. I thought that was really neat.
Is there
Sorry,
any material difference between some of the CX tools like Gorgeous and Zendesk, or are they all about the same?
I think they're all like tailor towards different types of problems. It's been a while since I've I used to use Zendesk and then I moved to Gorgeous. Zendesk, I think, is like dying is everything that I hear. Like everyone's just bagging on it, at least in ecom. And I
Hmm.
mean, I found like a really easy interface to use. I didn't find it super sexy. Gorgeous was quite sexy to use, and it was quite modern, and like they had the whole CSM arm built around it, which was really nice. I think they built in AI, which is quite unique. I don't know how much AI the other tools are built in. They're probably all doing it now. I don't know. There's a lot of like heat on help desk at the moment for what they charge, but at the same time, I mean, I think they are like seriously complex and robust tools, and they deliver a shit ton of value. Like I don't know. It's an interesting space.
There's a tool that I interviewed, Bryce. He's the founder of Zamo. Have you heard of Zamo?
Hell yeah.
Ah, super cool. That's obviously more tech. So the one that you just brought up, that was, you said Dexa?
Dixa, Dixa. Yeah, so that's a help desk that I
Okay.
just found like it was a unique approach to how they do things. I mean, Zamo is like another great example of that, right? They took this like old technology of being able to like interact with emails
Hmm.
and like brought it back to life, revived it and modernized it and like played it into ecom. And you can see the power that it drives. Like it's just so easy for the customer to turn that into a subscription or I don't know the full feature suite of what they do. But I think that's like genius. It's just like this again, like dead real estate or like this new service point that didn't previously exist, and then they created it and they rebirthed it, and now brands are catching on to the next opportunity to leverage.
What about any other Shopify apps that are awesome to use besides order editing, like bundling apps or like anything that you've seen?
Gift Note is a really cool app out of Australia, so like quite close to home. They do like the gift messaging experience and they make it better. But the thing that I find really cool and marketing leaders find really cool is that if you're a gifting store and like let's say 40% of your revenue is from gifters, you don't collect the recipient's email. So you're sending ads to the person who like bought the product as a gift for someone else. Like I buy dresses for my girlfriend or my wife as like a present, and I start
Hmm.
getting ads from Meshki and Baby Boo, and it's like, why are you sending me these ads?
Yeah.
That will give you my girlfriend's email so that you can send her ads after she receives the product as like a gift.
Ah, okay.
And so you can start targeting the people who actually use it and collect their data, which I found really neat. It made me think like how, if you are a gifting brand, how inefficient is your ad spend because you're just like
Ah,
spamming,
that's so true.
right? But not the ones actually using it, consuming it, enjoying it, who are going to like pay it forward to the next recipient, right? So I don't know about you, like when I receive a gift that's really good, like 9 times out of 10, I buy that gift for someone else.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks, yeah, for next year's Christmas present. Like that's awesome.
Awesome. Well, anything else that you would add to, this new modern tech stack? Anything out of the normal players, Klaviyo, Gorgeous?
Aside from Luminous. No. I mean, I don't know, like Swap. I don't know how popular Swap is in the US, but that is a tool that is just like taken over the UK for returns and cross border. They kind of planned that like consolidation of your post purchase tech stacks piece, which is neat. The thing that I love about them is like, I'm a SaaS founder. I'm not a brand founder. I look relatively less intensely at tools and their value. I more look at like their go to market and how they're building it and the people that are
Mhm.
working. Because I mean, I'm trying to learn from everyone, right? Like I'm trying to learn how to be CEO and how to manage employees and how to build teams. And Swap, I think, have done a really incredible job of that. They have this like amazing BDR team that post videos on LinkedIn every single day and are building an audience. Just like I'll take you through a life, like work like a day in the life working at Swap, and it's just like exciting to watch. The crazy thing for that, like for other tech founders listening, is I've been on calls with merchants and they go, oh, like I've been looking at Swap. Like, what have you heard about it? I want to use it. And they go, oh, like I've heard really great things. Why do you want to use it? Like, why would you switch from what you currently use? And they go, it just seems like they're really cool to work with. It's like, it's such an eye into, the mindset when people say you partner with tech. Like people just want to work with good people. They want to have like fun in their job, an enjoyable day, work with like products that are fun and easy to use. And like the teams behind it are part of that. And I think that's super interesting, especially for the build in public wave that's going through at the moment. And like, we're leaning into that as well. We build in public on LinkedIn, and it kind of explains
Absolutely.
why why it works so well, because people are like emotionally attached to our product and me, and that's why they want to use it in some ways. To the point where like 80% of our revenue comes from LinkedIn posts.
Wow,
Like it's ridiculous.
that's
Yeah,
incredible. Wow.
it's ridiculous.
What have been your most effective LinkedIn posts?
Personal anecdotes. Like my mindset is that like people want to work with winners. Like I want to work with other like vendors who are winning and that are like enjoyable. And so a lot of our content revolves around like the successes that we're experiencing and just like openly sharing when we grow and how we grow and, traveling the world and things like this, because it just exudes a feeling of confidence and stability, and that like everyone else is using this. Why aren't you? Like a little bit of FOMO. The other posts that do really well are like, we all have, when you're like sitting at a bar and it's like late night, you're having a deep, meaningful conversation, you're a little bit drunk, like the voice pipes are loose, and you're talking about like things that shaped your life. For me, it was like growing in high school was where I learned how to work really hard, or like dropping out of high school was where I learned that I enjoy like being outside of my comfort zone, and then I'm a little bit independent, and I'm like a bit of a life designer. Those stories, if you share those on the internet, you'll find that like a lot of people relate to them. Like I'd posted about rowing and how it shaped me as a founder, and I'd get like 20 or 30 messages from people in ecom or outside of ecom, some like ecom managers saying like, man, I think about this so often, how like my experience as a D1 athlete like got me to where I was like head of e-commerce. And those personal anecdotes where you let people get to know you, I think are really important, and also just enjoyable to share, provided you're not like a closed book. Like I like sharing. Um, I think it's a nice way to live.
That's awesome advice. Honestly, so Luminous, we build in public as well, and it's such a good reminder of, because I've been going through a bit of a dry spell on LinkedIn, meaning like I haven't been posting as much recently. Like there just hasn't been as much enjoyment, and that just reminded me. It's like, you know what? Like just be an open book. Post about the random shit that we're winning on recently, or just post about the stuff that's hard right now.
I find it gets really hard when you're quite isolated. But when you are like out conversing with people, especially like you don't want to post. I feel like when you post something on the internet, you don't really want to like circle jerk with other millionaires or people who wait. Like I think that's really boring to read unless you're like us. Like I enjoy reading it because I relate to it. But like 99% of people in the world are not running companies like you. They haven't had this experience. And I think what's actually really neat is just like letting them know how it feels, like what this experience is kind of like, not just like telling them front on, like, this is what is happening. It's like, and this is what it feels like. And like trying to help them, understand
That's great.
little bit of the environment. And those answers and questions come out when you talk to those people, and they're like, so why did you choose Mexico City? Like for some reason that's really interesting to people. Or they're like, why did you raise another round? Like what prompted that, and how does it feel? Like what was the experience like? I think that's really interesting to people.
This conversation's been so good for me. Like honestly, I'm getting back into LinkedIn, and it just reminded me the why of my previous posts that I've done well. It's such a good reminder. Like honestly, this has been a great talk. Appreciate the time, man. Seriously.
I was just gonna say it's been good to meet you and yarn. I guess
Well,
Americans don't know what a yarn is. A yarn is like a chat. What are you
so
saying?
where can the people find you? Are you just LinkedIn? Do you do Instagram? Anything else?
Yeah, LinkedIn's the main one. Hamish McKay is of course the name, and then I do post on Twitter as well. Same thing, but McKay has 2K.
Okay.
I probably shouldn't say this because then I'll be boxed in. But YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and things coming soon. I'd love to start
Okay.
the story in like a video format, and hopefully like educating and inspiring more people would be the dream. Just need to find more hours in the day and the gonads to go out and do it.
Yeah. I posted every day for a year on YouTube.
Really?
Obviously I've been doing this podcast. But this is the year that, okay, like I want to get good at YouTube. I don't want to just post, like let's get good at this. So I'm about to post my first like video where I really tried to like script it and made sure it's optimized, and so we'll see how that goes. It was, yeah. It was. But I'm trying to set like you said, like engineering your life. I'm trying to engineer my business. Like we're sitting in the studio in our office. I'm trying to just make it where I just pop in on Saturdays and we just script well and like it's just natural, so it's not like hard. Um, that's the challenge right now for me.
Yeah, it's like having a home gym. Yeah,
I'm
super
excited to see your YouTube video, man.
excited to watch it. Excited to watch this.
I'm excited to see it. I'll keep you accountable on that. I'll follow up about it. Okay. Well, awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Everybody, this is Hamish McKay, Order Editing, and that was our episode of Ops Unfiltered. See ya.